Hello and welcome to the German Open Badminton Championships. You join us here on final day here in the beautiful city of Mulheim, which has been a regular stop on the tour since 2005 and one which the players always look forward to. The first German Open was held in 1955 and has a great tradition with a role of champion that reads like a who's who of badminton legends. There are 14 GPGs scheduled for 2017 and this week marks the first European event of the year. Well, I'm delighted to be joined in the commentary box by Steen Pedersen, former head coach of the Danish team. Welcome, Steen.
Thanks a lot, Ian. Hopefully we've got some good matches ahead of us here this Sunday afternoon in Germany. Here's the order of play for today. First up, the women's doubles with the unseeded combination of Fukushima and Hirota, taking on the up-and-coming young Chinese pair Huang Dongping and Yinhui. Then it's an all-Chinese Taipei affair in the men's singles. Zhou Jianqian, the runner-up from last year, taking on Wang Tzuwei, who recorded a really good victory yesterday against Chen Long. Then it's an all-Danish men's doubles repeat of the European Championship final. Astrup and Rasmussen playing against Conrad and Peterson and Colling. And then, unfortunately, as you can see, in the women's singles, Carolina Marin had to give a walk over to Akane Yamaguchi, and she was presented with her prize later, early on today. Here it is. Great tournament for Yamaguchi. And then the last match of the day, the all-Chinese mixed doubles where Lu Kai and Huang Yachong, the top seeds of the tournament, is trying to see off former Olympic mixed doubles champion Jiang Nan and his young partner Li Yinhui, who is in her second final of the day. So a number of good matches coming up for us here in Mulheim and the Ruhr.
As you say, Steen, we'll be starting off with the ladies' doubles. Here's the route through to the final for the two pairs today. Japanese pair, to be honest, have made reasonably efficient work in the quarter-final against the seeded Bulgarian pair. And then yesterday saw off the local favourites of Hertrich and Nelta in two straight games. In the bottom half of the draw, Chinese pair overcame in what was a very tough quarter-final against the Thai pair, and then a good win over the Japanese in the semi-final. Well, the officials are already out on court. We're just waiting for the players to come out now. And here they come. First onto court, Fukushima and Sayaka Hirota. And here come the Chinese pair, relatively new pairing of Huang Dongping and Li Yinhui. Just started their partnership back in October, but already they're starting to make waves, and they look like a really promising pair, I have to say. Nice to see the mascots out there. First there'll be a presentation to the crowd. Sometimes a little nerve-wracking for the players this, they just want to get on with it, hit the first shuttles. As you can see, Japanese pair have come through unseeded in this event, but they've looked very, very solid throughout the tournament. It's been a haul that's been playing quite quick. A lot of pairs have had problems controlling the shuttle, but the Japanese pair have noticeably really not made many errors during their matches. Well, the ceremonies are over. There'll just be the toss of the coin now. Be interesting to see what the winners choose to do. Throughout the week, a lot of players have been taking the near side to the camera as you're looking, because it's played a little bit more difficult from this near side. It's been quicker, been difficult to control the length of the shuttle. Michael Dahl, very experienced umpire from Norway. There we go. It's the Japanese that have won that. Let's see what they do. Oh, taken service. That's fooled me straight away. Forget everything I just said there. Yeah, and it's the Chinese pair have actually chosen ends there, and unsurprisingly to me anyway, they've taken the fast end first. A little bit more difficult to control the shuttle. We'll give them time to settle down. Well, we'll start with Huang Dongping, 22 years of age. Don't worry too much about that world ranking of 21 for this pair, because they only started this combination in October last year, and as I say, they're already just starting to make some waves. They've already had Super Series finals, a couple of Super Series finals, and a semi-final. And as I say, they're starting to look a really dangerous pair. And there's a partner. This is the first of 2 finals today. She'll be appearing in the mix later as well. Only 19 years of age, that's quite incredible really. And a young player with a lot of talent. It'll be really interesting to see how she copes actually with being in 2 finals today. And here's their route through to this stage. Relatively straightforward, yet to drop a set. Not really tested, a little bit in that quarter-final. They got to come from quite a few points down in the second game of the quarter-final against the more established, shall we say, Thailand pair, but eventually came through in straight sets.
Very convincing tournament so far for Huang and Lee.
Yeah, moving over to the Japanese side. Yuki Fukushima, 23 years of age, world ranking of 23. They have been as high as 14, but they've not played so many tournaments recently. But when they have played, they've been pretty solid. You have to say they've had wins in Chinese Taipei, they've had a win in Vietnam as well, New Zealand, and they've been gradually working their way through the ranks of the tournaments. I'm sure they're looking for a chance to get a sustained run at the Super Series events. There's a partner, Hirota, same ranking, slightly taller. But they're a pair that are very solid, and they've dealt with the conditions very, very well this week, Steen. They really have. They've been noticeably the pair that have probably made the fewest errors, I would say.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting, because this match will give us a good hint on their level. We see that the match in the second round against Poli and Pradipta from Indonesia was a real long, grueling match, 83 minutes, second longest match of the tournament. And in order to move further up in the rankings, this Japanese pair, they really got to start beating the top pairs in the world, like for instance Huang Dongping and Yinhui. They're not that far away in rankings so far, but the Chinese are aspiring higher.
Yeah, but you'd have to say for the Japanese pair, this is a real opportunity today. They've played well all week, and the Chinese pair, they've been solid, but they haven't really been tested this week, I'd say. They've had a relatively straightforward trip through to the final. I'm sure the Japanese will be looking to try and get them under pressure early in this match.
On my left, Yuki, Fukushima, Sayaka, Hirota, Japan. Yuki Fukushima to serve to Lee Yinhui. Love all. Play.
long, just out the back. Maybe a sign of things to come there, Steen. It's pretty clear the Japanese setting up, ready to defend, ready to move the Chinese pair around the court, set their stall out early.
Yeah. And that term, it was quite lucky for the Japanese that the Chinese chose this side, this near side of the court, because they have an easier time of controlling their lifts. So it still puzzles me that anyone chooses to serve, because I mean you can score even if you're not serving yourself. Back in the old days when you had to hold the serve to win points, of course it was an easy choice to start serving, but nowadays it doesn't really matter who serves.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, this Japanese pair, I mean, we've seen them play earlier in the week and they like to work their way into matches, but I do feel it's a slightly dangerous tactic against this Chinese pair to go straight onto the defensive. Yeah. This Chinese pair, they're solid, and they've got a good attack and they've got good varieties. We've already seen the last point, very nice held check drop shot to win the point. It's a dangerous tactic to give them time and give them an easy route into the match, if you like. And Dongping, when she does get the chance to attack from sort of the mid-court area, very aggressive. Hitting flat there deliberately, so she had the chance to follow it in.
Yeah, and extremely strong when she's coming forward from the back court, following up. These rushes.
Nice twitch. Saw the space. Hirota. Well, just out the back. Not much in that one.
No, that's a little worrying for the Japanese, because that should be sort of the safe side of the court to lift on, and now they've made 2 mistakes out of the 4 points that Li and Huang has scored. It's been on mistakes on the baseline.
Both pairs feeling each other out tactically so far. A lot of variety in the game already from the rear court. Both pairs mixing the pace up.
Yeah, and they've never played. There's no score head-to-head with these 2 pairs, so we'll see that at least until the interval. Probably they'll be sort of looking to read their opponents. The really, really good players normally doesn't need more than half a game to do that. Oh. Bit of nerves perhaps in the early stages of this final.
Yeah, that's interesting. Japanese pair there choosing just to hold the shuttle and go back over the top, knowing that Huang probably wants to get to that 4-court position. Just went back over the top and forced the error. Good thinking.
Excellent. Good control by Sayaka Hirota.
That's a super return. Didn't actually take the shuttle that early, but very, very quick racket head to take the shuttle out to the side there, past the mid-court. Oh. Service judge fault there, called for striking the shuttle above the waist.
Service over.
Unusual to see that on a short serve.
Yeah.
Oh, that's clever. That's clever from Huang. She was a little bit off balance, but cut the shuttle down across the defensive position of the Japanese player. Quick thinking. Good play. Good play from Hirota. Sometimes doesn't look the most natural player on the forecourt, but they're very, very positive. Followed up the first attack, finished with the second. Good play. Interesting rally again. Japanese started with the attack and chose to give their opponents the attack back.
Yeah.
But actually the attack was too good for them in the end. Nice combination play between the two Chinese players. Centre attack, the net player following up. And they are a very dangerous pair when they do have the attack.
Long again. I think we've already seen more shots gone long on this near side of the court than we did all day yesterday. That's really worrying because, I mean, if you've the Japanese pair played the same court yesterday, and of course they have a read on the drift and so on. So suddenly, if that changes, you get that little uncertainty in your game.
Well, that's a better place smash from Fukushima. When they have smashed so far in this game, they've tended to hit onto the defense a little bit of the Chinese players, I think, but that one was to the right hip, away from the backhand defensive stance that the Chinese player was in, and very effective it was. Well, 10-all. As you said, Steen, a little bit of sparring between the two pairs here. Let's see who gets into the interval with the advantage.
Both pairs should be really satisfied. I mean, nothing's lost yet. Oh, that was way short, that service there.
10 interval.
Yeah, be interesting in the interval. Be interesting to see when they come out again if we can pick anything up from the coaching that takes place here. The feeling both pairs were just feeling each other out there. If anything, I would say that the Chinese pair probably looked the more aggressive of the two pairs. A little bit more variety in their attack, a little bit more efficient, I would say, in the attack. Having said that, it's only a 1-point advantage.
20 seconds.
Coach,
20 seconds.
Chinese coach Gu Jianzhong, former men's doubles specialist. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see who comes out best from the interval here. So the Chinese, they pointed a little bit upwards towards the ceiling and so on to
11-10.
Signal that they've been discussing something about the drift.
Yeah, I think all four pairs will maybe be a little bit surprised.
Yeah.
Because it does seem to have switched a little bit, doesn't it? Oh, that's sharp. That's very quick. Dongping. Interesting when she's in the rear court, though, Steve, using a lot of flat smash.
Yeah.
So far, trying to encourage maybe a flatter game to get a partner in the net.
Exactly. If you utilize more steep smashes, the normal return is normally a high lift, and of course you'd like them to get shorter and shorter eventually, but the more flat smash invites for a flat return and creates opportunities for your partner to intercept.
Yeah, and we know Lee loves those interceptions around the front court. Obviously, we're going to see her in the mix later, and she is quick in that forecourt, reads the game well. Oh, good skill.
Song.
Just out again. Did well to get out of the way of it. Interesting when Lee's in the rear court. Not so much smash we're seeing from her. Lots of drops, a couple of clears, mixing it up, a lot of variety. But when Huang gets to the back, she's really trying to create some pressure on the opponents to get a partner in the forecourt.
Yeah, it seems to be a clear strategy from the Chinese side. Both Chinese girls are playing mixed doubles, but I don't think Huang Dongping is not entered in this tournament in mixed doubles.
And that's a well-placed smash again. Into that right hip.
14-11.
Not giving the Japanese player the room to use a favoured backhand defence. Flat to the centre again.
Yeah, she took a chance, Hirota, but was a little bit off. Good placement from Lee to her left shoulder there.
15-11.
We must say that the Chinese pair has clearly come out better after the interval.
It's well placed. Very, very well placed. Right down the centre line of the court, but also with such a good angle. Very steep smash.
Hit there from Fukushima.
16-12. Service over. 13-16.
Well, as we said, it's a relatively new Chinese pair, but they've already had one or two noticeable results. You'd have to say they've already been to final a Super Series event in Hong Kong at the end of last year. Also a semi-final in the French, so they've had quite a strong start to the partnership, that's for sure.
Yeah, lost to Pedersen and Richard Yule in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Good rally for Hirota and Fukushima, and I think that they have to seek the initiative, not necessarily the attack all the time, but they have to be conducting the rally, so to speak. Even on this side here, we saw it yesterday in the men's doubles that if you're too content to lift playing the far side of the court here, you get yourself in trouble.
That's good.
Oh,
missed it. Missed it. Fukushima should be disappointed with that. They'd worked the point well, hadn't they?
Yeah, they had, and I mean, here it's so important that so you sort of keep your motivation high, because everything she did was perfect.
Yep.
Except the result was not so good.
Yep. No, it was good play. Mixed it up, used the rear court, and then put the block in. Really got the Chinese opponents out of position, but I'm afraid they got a little bit excited with the finish.
17,
Big swing.
14.
Lost control. Oh, just missed it again.
Yeah.
But unlucky. I mean, really,
Yeah,
it was the right thing to do.
and you got to be there. You got to seek those kind of opportunities when you play a good pair. If you play safe, if you play too safe, then you're not gonna pull it off. But of course, we can see that if we count back 4 mistakes on the baseline, 2 big opportunities missed here at 16-14. So they'll think back on those if they lose the first game here, the Japanese girls.
Again, centre attack. Huang. That's a good block. Yeah, good rally. Again, it's the Japanese who make the mistake in the end.
19-14.
Being taken on a little bit at their own game there. Normally it's the Japanese forcing the errors through being consistent and patient. This time the shoe was on the other foot. Again, patient from Lee in the rear court. And unfortunately, again, the mistake from the Japanese. Very noticeable with Lee in the rear court, not taking any risks.
20, game point.
Mixing the pace. And that brings up game points for the Chinese pair. Missed it. This time the Japanese didn't fall for the flat smash, took the pace off. It was good enough to force the error.
20.
Still game points though. That's good. Oh, can't finish it. Good rally. Oh, really good rally. Oh,
Fantastic.
that's an amazing shot to win the point. Worthy of a game point, that shot. Dongping. Under pressure, flat to a body, managed to lay the shuttle off cross court. Fantastic technique. And that's the first game, 21-15. Huang Dongping, Yinhui. Well, good quality first game, Finn, I have to say.
Yeah, and pretty much as we expected, that start out a little cautious, both pairs, just seeing each other. Trying to read each other's shots and playing style and so on, and we must say that the Chinese pair came all out the better pair after the interval. I felt that the Chinese looked a bit more solid in the defense. It wasn't like they were almost losing it. The Japanese got better chances, and I think maybe also that's the explanation of the mistakes we saw from the Japanese, that they were not unforced errors, they were psychologically forced errors. They feel they have to play really well to beat these two Chinese girls here.
Yes, they look good. It's interesting for me with Yinhui, only 19 years of age, but given the responsibility, given two good partners at a young age, some players would feel a little bit under pressure. We'll talk about it a little bit later in the mix, but being given, well, what you can almost call a legend as a partner in the mix, really, Zhang Nan, is a real responsibility for a 19-year-old.
It is.
And here in this doubles, you know, it was a new pair in October, but they just slotted straight in at Super Series level, which is impressive, really impressive, I have to say. Already a final and a semi at Super Series level in your first 5 events. It's, for a 19-year-old, that's some going.
Yeah, what I particularly like about this Chinese combination is that they're more all-rounders, understood in the way that until now we've often seen Chinese combinations with one good front court player and one good back court player, but here both players play a very respectable mixed doubles, and they can both play from the back court, so there's not as many gaps as we've seen, especially last year in the Olympic qualification period. Even though China won matches, I still felt that they were vulnerable, and we saw it in full extent at the Olympics.
Yeah. It's a good start, positive start. Fukushima, no mistake this time, finishing off well from the front court, good interception.
Yeah. And this is what the Japanese pair need to do. They need to be a bit more efficient in their attack from this side. They got a little bit help from the drift.
Yep.
We expect, even though we're a little bit in doubt with its in full effect here in today's finals. It seems like there's a bit less drift than yesterday.
It's a good serve. Interesting what you're saying about the Chinese pair. For me, they're both very comfortable in the front court, which, as you say, is not always the case with the Chinese combinations. No. From the rear court, I think there is a difference. Li, very patient, not the big power smash. Huang, when she's in the rear court, as we see there, putting a bit more pressure on. But the fact they're both comfortable in the front court is a real advantage.
Yeah. Well played.
That's good play.
Yeah.
Good rally. And I do feel that's what they've got to do. They've got to take the initiative. They've got to keep the attack. They're not going to get through in 1, 2, 3 shots, but they need to place the shuttle, use a little bit of variety, but keep the shuttle going down.
2 all.
Fukushima have been struggling a little bit with a short serve in this match so far. Didn't notice it yesterday in the semi-final.
No, they didn't flick a lot there, but they flicked a couple of times today.
Yeah. It's better serve. It's well placed. That's better. Going to the forehand side.
3,
Huang
2.
there setting up for backhand defence, covering the centre of the court. Caught off guard by the straight attack there to a forehand wing. Lovely return. Good skill. Really good skill.
Service over.
It's a good serve. She realised it, delayed the return, turned it to the side of the court. Nice play.
Service over. 4-3.
good defence. That's a lovely shot. And good finish. Really clever.
It shows, sort of, sums up the match that the Japanese, they have been really saving things in their defense. They've sort of got it over just in the nick of time and with a little bit of luck, whereas Huang and Lee, they've been much more solid.
They've been very constructive in defence, haven't they? They've been trying to turn the defence. Well, again, caught on that forehand side of the defence. Japanese may have come up with a tactic there. That's twice. He's struggling a little bit there on that switch to the forehand defence. They're just shadowing the shot there. Just a little bit fixed, isn't she, in that position?
Also, the Japanese might. That's
No,
in.
that's in. There's definitely a change today. Definitely a change. Yesterday, that would have clearly gone out.
Yeah. So the Japanese, they might be able to pick up on that Lee Yinhui, when she's at the back court, when she's smashed once, very often the next shot is a constructive shot to the front court, but not a hard smash.
Oh. This time it's the flick serve that's called for being struck above the waist. As I say, Fukushima, she has struggled. She's looked nervy on service today, which wasn't noticeable in the semi yesterday.
Very, very hard to judge the position of the arm in real time. You often need to have a look at it in slow or even frame by frame to be able to judge whether it's correct or not. These service judge calls, it's really not a job I envy them.
No, not an easy job at all. Last point again, we saw the Japanese being more constructive in their placement of the attack. Low percentage shot, you'd have to say.
6, 7.
Wrong side. That's unusual.
Service over. 8, 6.
Interesting serve now. Fukushima. Let's see if we can see anything. It's fine.
That's on the line. Just in.
7, 8.
Power smash, well placed.
8, all.
Well, it's a tight first half of the second set, similar to the first set in many ways. It's a good attack. Needs to finish it. Guilty a little bit of hitting onto the defence, you'd have to say. Had a couple of good chances there. Oh, good rally. It's going to go long, I think. Yeah, just long. Good rally. Probably sums up the problems that the Japanese pair have got. They had a lot of chances there to finish that rally and just couldn't quite get through.
No, it was the first attacking situation. That was the problem. They had lots of opportunities, but didn't follow up well enough. When you have the attack, it's so important that you work together with your partner. And you can't be standing around covering areas where the probability the shuttle will come is very, very low. That you can't do that. You have to be close to your partner in order to overcover the most likely return areas from the opponent.
It's a better smash. Yeah, it's interesting when the Chinese have the attack in the front court, we see the partner actually coming right up the court behind.
Exactly. Closing
down and filling that short space.
Yeah.
On the Japanese side, one player attacking at the front, the other player's tending to stay deeper in the court, and that's a big difference.
Yeah. Gives the opponent a chance to get out of the tough situation.
Good return. Can she finish this time? Yeah, that's better. Hitting away from the defence, across onto the forehand side. Better placement.
See, Hirota is moving back here. She should not be moving back. She should be moving back in the other side as well, because, I mean, if the Chinese get it back to the backcourt, okay, congratulations. Then we start on from more of like a 50-50 situation. You got to cover the most probable shots.
And there we see the two Chinese players moving forward. There's the contrast. Well, 10-all, same as the first game. Let's see who has the advantage this time. It's a good serve. Evident Chinese looking to fill that space in the front court, moving forward, looking to move forward the whole time. Oh, that's well placed.
Yeah.
And this time it's the Japanese pair that take the 1 point advantage into the mid-game interval. 11 points to 10. Tight game.
Yeah, and I think if they go neck to neck up until 18 or something like that, I feel the advantage is with the Chinese pair. Sorry, I feel the advantage would be with the Chinese pair. They played better so far, and they seem to have control over the situation. Plus, they have the first game, so the pressure will be enormous on Fukushima and Hirota if they don't manage to pull a little bit away from the Chinese pair.
Interesting though, I mean the Japanese ladies doubles pairs now, they must have so much more confidence, particularly after the Olympic result in the ladies doubles with Japan taking the gold medal. They must have so much more confidence in these situations that they can compete with the Chinese though.
Yeah, yeah, and it also depends a little bit on what happens in practice matches, because if Matsutomo and Takahashi, who is the Olympic champions, if they win all their matches in practice and win convincingly, then the rub-off effect is not that big, because I mean, then it doesn't help me that they can beat the other pairs if I can't beat them. On the other hand, if I sometimes beat them at practice, then I get a lot of confidence saying, okay, they can win the biggest tournaments, and I sometimes beat them in practice.
Yep.
Then I can win them as well.
Yep. You can see the pathway. See the pathway to the top. Oh, that's super interception. Oh, great rally, great rally. That time they had one or two chances, didn't take them, but they were able to cope with the Chinese forecourt attack. And when the second chance came, they took it. This is great defense, good block. Steps in, uses the space, and that's the disadvantage of the two Chinese players moving forward. There was space in the rear court there.
Yeah, there was, but still, I mean, it was not a planned point, so to speak, for the Japanese player. They were extremely lucky to save two shots and then won it. So, in the long run, I would still go with the Chinese.
That's nice. Good read. She's only 19, but she's already got building up great experience. Read the play there, stepped in, took the drop early, found the space.
That's it.
That flat smash from Huang again. Nice block. Nice block. It looks like a simple mistake, but actually it's the change of pace that beat her.
Yeah, and she's really good at that, Yinhui. She just doesn't keep on going with fast-paced shots. She's good at mixing it up.
Play.
That's a good shot. Off balance, found a good angle, took the pace off, brought the shuttle down steeply. It's good technique. You can see here, she's having to move back, off balance. Manages to control the shuttle with the racket head very well.
That was the kind of shots that they missed out on a little bit in the first game, where instead of winners, they created mistakes.
Yeah, they were guilty of forcing a little bit
on
those occasions in the first game. That's 3 smashes onto the defence. Finding the placement of the smash really from the rear court.
Well played,
Oh,
well
good.
played.
Yeah.
I think I would direct the majority of the shots at Huang Dongping if I were the Japanese pair. I mean, her returns, her pace is much more predictable, in my opinion, than Li Yinhui.
Yeah, certainly Lee's got more variety in defence. She can take the pace off, she can go over the top, and if it's too flat, she can drive and step in behind it.
And both defense and offense, I mean, she blocks almost every time after a smash. So once in a while, the variety would come in handy. But I feel that Huang Dongping is more inclined to use power all the time. I don't get that from the Japanese pair. I mean, just lifting to the same side over and over again. I mean, the idea would be, in my opinion, to move the backcourt player to the other side of the court to sort of force her into a bad decision.
Yeah, but normally there as well, you'd expect the cross-court player to be further up the court than the straight player, and we saw Hirota there was actually behind her partner. She needs to be up there looking for that centre drop, looking to move it or even attack it.
Yeah, she totally... missed it.
Short.
Service over.
Disappointed with that one.
13.
That's a good attack again. Just managing to up the intensity level a little bit, the Japanese pair.
And now they got this little 3-point cushion here.
Yeah. Will give them some more confidence, that's for sure.
Well worked. I really like the pace that Li Yinhui has on these shots here. It's not a full smash, but it's not a soft-paced drop either.
And it's well placed.
Yeah, it's really, really hard for the Japanese pair to do any constructive stuff on that. Great Excellent play. Great follow-up by both Chinese players.
Well, we've seen in the last couple of points the example of what we were talking about earlier, that they're both so comfortable in the front court.
Yeah.
Such an advantage in ladies doubles to have two players who are very confident in that area. That's a great serve. Ooh. Well, they won the point, but there's the contrast. Fukushima had a chance early on there to really attack on the front court and really just played the block and ran away to the rear court. Not comfortable on the front court.
It's also telling that Japan has had quite a lot of problems finding a good mixed doubles pair. Matsutomo, the Olympic champion in women's doubles, has played some good mixed doubles, but it's not like there's a lot of strong front court players in Japanese female doubles players.
No, I mean there is a definite Japanese style in ladies doubles, and it's very much based around solid defense, minimal errors, solid from the rear court, and just safe from the front court, really. Not really taking any chances. Good switch.
Excellent.
Really good switch of attack. That flat smash across the body.
16-17.
The three-point gap's rapidly disappearing.
Play.
That's good.
Excellent.
Good from Hirota. Very patient there, but kept the attack. That was the key. Was prepared to hit as many smashes as it took, and eventually the space opened up.
Over. 18-16.
And they needed that point. I think they needed that. Good serve this time. Oh, good enough as well. I was surprised by the quality of the serve. Fukushima's not served very well in this match, but that really was a good serve. Short to the tee, dropping. Forced the error. That's a good block. Well placed.
Great patience. The Japanese pair, they're really giving everything right now, and of course they should, because 4 chances now to make everything all square.
Yeah, game points. Noticeable for me that the Chinese have just gone a little bit passive, haven't they?
Exactly.
Stopped trying to convert. They've been happy to defend rather than trying to counter-attack.
And we haven't seen the number of easy mistakes from the Japanese pairs we saw in the first game.
It's out the back. That's another big swing, I'm afraid, from the front court. Not great front court technique, you'd have to say.
17.
The only positive you can say was that she was trying to be positive. She did go for it. Still got another 3 chances. Good rally. Yes, it's in. It's all square. Second game to the Japanese pair. Again, that last point, just an example, I think, of the Chinese just become a little bit passive, haven't they?
We saw it yesterday in the men's doubles with Ivanov, Sosunov against Conrad and Colling, that when you play that far side of the court, you tend to be a little bit too satisfied defending. You can't be satisfied defending. You've got to look for the opportunity to turn it around. Otherwise, in the end, your opponent will kill it.
Yeah, I mean, for a game and a half, the Chinese pair have been very aggressive in the defense. Yeah. They've been looking for chances to convert it into attacking situations. Then all of a sudden, at the end, the last 10 points there, they just sat back and defended and waited for errors. And credit to the Japanese, they didn't make the errors, they kept the attack, kept the play going, and by the end of that, they looked really good.
So there should be a lot of battle for the attack as well here in the third game, and that's just great development that women's doubles has been going through over the last 4 or 5 years. Really, really interesting to watch. Also because the service situation is not as important as in the men's doubles. In men's doubles, there's some rallies that are really, really short, or there's a number of rallies actually that are really, really short.
Still have to say, the Chinese really have an advantage in the front court. They've not used that very well in the second half of the second game. If I was coaching them, I'd certainly be saying to them, let's look to get control of that front court again. Let's bring the variety back into the game and not be too passive on the defense.
Yeah, they can't expect Fukushima and Hirota to make I think I counted 7 easy mistakes in the first game. They can't be expecting them to make that again here in the third game. And I mean, yeah, as you said, Ian, it came a little bit out of nowhere that the Japanese were able to take the second game. They looked as if they were in control, Li and Huang. Let's see if they can bounce back.
Play.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it yesterday. I mean, the Japanese at the moment, they've got 5, maybe 6 really good quality pairs. So every time they're training together, the intensity is very high. They're not scared of intense rallies. They're not scared of long rallies, long matches. And that was evident there. They kept to the game plan, kept pushing, kept some tempo in the game, and eventually it paid off. It's a great opening rally. Well, credit to the Japanese. They kept it going. They didn't make errors. Chinese pair, it's noticeable Li from the rear court is really not committing to anything that's aggressive in the rear court. That's giving the Chinese time to get organised. Just tactically, there's been a real shift, hasn't there?
Yeah.
I think the Japanese have worked out that Lee doesn't want to do a lot of smashing from the rear court, and that's also giving them some confidence at the moment.
Exactly. And I think they need to show. I think the Chinese pair need to show a bit more urgency and a bit more commitment. It's like they want the win, but they don't want to work really hard for it. And if that's the case, then I think these two girls are going to take the victory.
Yeah, well, they've got the teeth into this game now. It'll be tricky to break them down. They've reduced the errors. They've found a tempo. They're being allowed to play at a tempo that they're comfortable with. And Lee has played 3 really bad points. And this is where maybe it comes into a mind. Oh, 3 games. Oh, I've got the mix to come.
And there's only 2 games break because Carolina Marin had to withdraw from the women's single.
Yeah, and her focus seems to have gone, I have to say. It's 3 very average points.
But
yeah, here we go again. Again, they're looking for Lee a little bit as well, aren't they? Looking for it. They've seen it. Either they've seen it themselves or the coaches have seen it.
For love.
It's not always pretty, but it's effective at the moment.
it's in.
It's in.
Yeah.
Well, this is a great start, you have to say. Chinese have a real dilemma here. They're going to have to start attacking more from the rear court for me, even though it might be a bit physical for them.
Yeah.
They've got to start putting some tempo into this game from the rear court. At the moment, it's too passive. Yeah. And again, Lee not wanting to hit hard, looking to come forward. Japanese, clever, pushing her back to the rear court where she doesn't want to be, forcing another error.
And what a change of events from the first game where the Chinese pair attacked and really created opportunities for themselves in the attack. They created problems for the Japanese pair's defense. Didn't seem to be able to withstand the Chinese attack, but it's all vanished.
Credit to the Japanese. I mean, they're not giving Huang so much time in the rear court. She's the one who was creating the pressure in the first game. When they're lifting, they're trying to look for Lee, who's not as aggressive in the rear court, and they've got themselves into a strong position.
Also a match with possible Uber Cup implications. There's no Uber Cup this year, but in 2018 there will be. And Yamaguchi, who won the women's singles in this tournament due to the walkover from Carolina Marin, she has an ambition for her career, and that is to win the Uber Cup with Japan.
Yeah. I'm sure the Japanese girls will be jealous of the boys. The boys having already done it in the Thomas Cup.
Yeah.
A little bit of rivalry there. But they've certainly got a squad that's capable of competing for that next year, you have to say.
She's sort of shaking her legs a little bit, Lee Yinhui. I don't know whether it's taking its toll on her to play two categories.
Events. Yeah, still quite young. 2 events, 2 matches a day, right through the week. That's better. It's better. She's not smashed a lot. Caught the Japanese off guard there by putting pace on it, and that's what she needs to do, really. Talking Uber Cup, Steen, I mean, interesting for me here, no Chinese lady singles players, that's rare.
Yeah, and they weren't entered into the tournament at all.
No. Again, you see, Fukushima really doesn't look comfortable in that front court position. I mean, that was a relatively easy shot, really. Again, she's missed it. She's put a couple out the back. That one's gone in the net. She's over-adjusted.
Yeah, and there's 2 things in it compared to a more natural net player. One is the technical skills, and it's an advantage to hit it with a short racket movement the closer you are to the net. And the other thing is that the more natural front court players, they have a better sense of how big the opportunity is. I often feel that the players that doesn't feel so comfortable on the front court, they sometimes overrate the opportunity.
And that's the same again. You've just demonstrating your point there. Hesitated on the interception. It was a relatively easy interception, not a lot of pace on it, but just hesitated and made the error.
Yeah, and I think it was actually quite flat, that shot, so maybe she just could have left it to her partner. She was covering behind her. It's really a strange match because it seems like the Japanese pair, they've almost stopped playing. I mean, what's that? Three good rallies for Huang and Lee.
It's gone way out. Trying to be more aggressive. Interesting, I'm sure the coach has been saying something from the rear court there because both Chinese players were trying to smash there.
Yeah.
Keep some aggression in the attack, which we've not seen so much in the early stage of this third game. But that was wild at the end.
Yeah, and they have to figure out something in between the wild attack and the passive approach to it. Got to mix it up.
That's better. That'll give her a bit more confidence. She'd missed the last two, but to her credit, she was still positive with that one. Went for it, got the reward. Chance to get a healthy lead at the change of ends in this mid-game interval. Nervy serve. Threw it up really.
Didn't quite get it to the first service line there.
No.
Very, very short.
And that's in. That's good. Hirota this time being positive on the front court. So it's the Japanese who have the advantage at the change of ends. 11-6, 5-point advantage, and they've deserved it. They have deserved it. They've been the more proactive pair. Start there. Managed to maintain that early momentum they got at the beginning.
Exactly. They really built on that second game win.
That's good. Hunting the shuttle in the front court, which is probably the weakness in their game really, but that was much better from Hirota.
20 seconds.
So, I'm sure the Japanese coaches here will be saying, first couple of points here, get your focus, make sure you're ready to go here, don't let them straight back in after the break.
Both pairs have won tournaments at this level here, Grand Prix Golds, but this is, in my opinion, the strongest Grand Prix Gold we've seen since the Olympic qualification period ended. So it will be a really, really good win, no matter which pair comes up, the winners. very active net player, front court player at the moment for Japan.
Oh, good defense.
Excellent.
Super. Yeah. Really well worked.
But there we saw a little bit of the wild smash from Huang Dongping that we've been talking about, where she sort of loses the plan or the composure and makes a bad choice, and all the pace in the shot gets used against her and her partner.
Yep. Yeah, just too flat. Beginning of the match, it was catching the Japanese off guard, but they've got used to that flat trajectory now. There it is again.
Yeah.
That's good.
They're not trying anything, Huang and Lee.
This is becoming an important point, you'd have to say, psychologically.
Yeah. I think even if the Japanese lose this rally, I still feel that they have an advantage after it.
That's very good. Classic Japanese in many ways. They've got a 6-point gap. They've got a 6-point lead. We're not going to take any chances.
No.
We're going to play solid.
And they're rock solid in these situations. This is the basic game of Japanese women's doubles. That's what you start with. Solid defense, solid movement, work really, really hard. I just don't see the Chinese beating Hirota and Fukushima this way.
Well, after that rally, they know they're going to have to work so hard.
Yeah.
So hard. And even when they do work hard, they didn't get through in that rally.
And psychologically, the two Japanese girls, they stayed on court. They were ready to play. And Lee had to ask the umpire for a towel down.
Yep. And for Lee especially now, I'm sure that mixed is in her mind a little bit as well. I've got to come and do this again. Not sure what's happening here.
I was just putting something on
strapping?
her. Yeah.
Strapping to keep the compression sock up by the looks of it. Or is it strapping
It's
underneath
on
the
knee.
compression?
It's on the knee.
Yeah. Yeah. To be honest, Japanese having won that point, I wouldn't be very happy if I was the Japanese coach that the Chinese have got a long break after that point. Yep. That's good. The moment they moved Lee across the rear court, they took the advantage.
Yes.
They took the advantage.
And they're definitely targeting her a lot.
Yeah. Lee off balance in the rear court, and then the Japanese were able to move forward. That's an 8-point advantage now. Well, better angle. Much better angle, but we haven't seen enough of it, have we, really, from Lee? She's been very passive in that rear court. From halfway through the second game, she's really not found those sorts of angles.
Played an hour and 5 minutes now.
Oh, good pick up. And again.
A little bit lucky for Fukushima and Hirota, but I really like that clear as a variation.
Yeah.
Service over. 15-7.
Yeah, a little bit more reminiscent of the first game there. The body smash and the follow-up from the front court.
Yeah.
8-15.
So that's when they look dangerous.
I think it's just about now if the Chinese want to get back into this match. I think they have to make a move now.
Yeah.
Huang doing a great deal of psychological work, trying to cheer up a partner.
Yeah. Huang trying to take the lead, isn't it?
9-15.
It's down to 6 points. Still a healthy lead for the Japanese, but I don't want to be giving too many more away.
No, and it's also a situation where you start thinking, okay, we can see the goal line now and we've got a good lead, we should probably win this. Some variation. Excellent. That cross smash from Yinhui
Yeah.
to the backhand side of, or actually it was the forehand side, but to the right side of Hirota. That one does the trick.
Well, the key word there was smash, because she's not done so much of that in the last couple of games.
No. One wants to towel down again.
This lead gradually being eaten away. It's down to 5. What the Japanese have probably got to avoid here is becoming too passive themselves.
Yes.
That's a passive return of serve. That's good. That's good from Hirota. Looking for the chance in the forecourt. Following up the block. Good play.
16-10.
Another thing is, I mean, the lead was 14-6 and down to 5 points and so on. But on a number of occasions, the 14-6 leaders, they just go on to win the match. So then it goes to 5 and then it goes back up to 7 points lead and so on. But the thing is that we notice all the matches where they catch up the opponents and turn it around. That's the one that we're putting a note on in the book.
Missed it. Missed it. Back up to 7, as you say.
Yeah.
17-10.
That was a risk, really, going for the line there, you have to say. That's good play.
Oh, fantastic. Great awareness by Yuki Fukushima.
Great play. Good variety. Fixing their opponents in the mid-court with a couple of power smashes. And then the deceptive drop to the front court. 18-10. Yeah, writing's on the wall now, I think. It's a 9-point gap.
10. Play.
Yeah. Looked a tired shot from Lee, didn't it, really?
They were unseeded coming into this tournament. Fukushima and Hirota. Great effort so far.
That's long. Match points arrive. and plenty of them. And you have to say they've thoroughly deserved their lead. Overcame a difficult first game, kept their heads, find themselves with plenty of match points. Oh, missed it. Missed it. Would have been a bit lucky. But it was nice to see her go for it. You feel as a pair, if they're going to develop, it is in that front court area they need to work.
11-20.
They know they've still got plenty of chances. Again, right idea, just missed on the execution of it. Looking to change the defensive position to attack by using the block. A little bit tense maybe, knowing it's a match point. Good play. Maybe too little too late, but Lee and Huang there creating some pressure. Lee managing to get a partner into the net and then finishing the point herself.
Yeah, you feel that
better
was the
combination.
way. You feel that was the way they should have played after the interval in the second game. Had they come out with that urgency, then I think they could have taken it in two.
Well, that's 4 match point opportunities gone. Still 6, but they'll be starting to think a little bit. The Japanese wants to change the shuttle, understandably. The Chinese not wanting to.
No.
They get their way with that, quite rightly so.
Oh, that was short. Hit the take the serve. Oy, good imagination by Huang.
It's long. Well, Japanese starting to look a little bit tense here, you have to say. That's 5 gone.
Yeah, and that now, they got to look at it this way. They got 5 chances to take it themselves. They cannot afford to stand there waiting for the Chinese to lose it.
Yeah. Yeah. And they have got that tendency, haven't they, just to get a little bit passive at times, as they were in the first game. To get in and try and take this point rather than wait for it. Here we go. There's a chance. And that's it. Well, thoroughly deserved win. Japanese pair. Yuki Fukushima, Sayaka, Hirota win what in the end was 1 hour 14-minute battle with the young Chinese pair. But I have to say they thoroughly deserve that. They struggled to find a way in the first game, but eventually managed to turn it round.
15. Service shot. Thank you.
Well, I think they can take a lot of confidence from that match thing, really. They overcame a very difficult tactical situation in the first game. Found a solution. There's confirmation of the score. 15-21, 21-17, 21-15. 1 hour, 14 minutes. Really excellent ladies doubles. 2 pairs to watch out for, I'd have to say, this year.
Definitely, and something that Fukushima and Hirota can use. Show the coaches back home in Japan and say, hey, we beat the Chinese in the final. You should rely on us when they have all the other pairs to compete with going to the big championships.
Yeah, well, they're fighting two battles, aren't they? They're fighting the world ranking battle to get their world ranking right up there, try and get into the seeded position for the big events. But also they're fighting the Japanese ranking battle, trying to get past some of these other pairs that are still ahead of them.
And that's where victories against strong opponents, they come in and count a lot, in my opinion.
Well, there were higher ranked Japanese pairs in this tournament, but it's these two that come out as victors.
The expected Japanese victory here, but not to the number 1 seeds. Fukuman and Yonemoto lost earlier in the tournament, so still a great tournament for Japan in women's doubles.
Well, they have got a few alternatives at the moment, haven't they? Yeah. Going into these big events with 3 or 4 strong pairs, you've got a great chance always. Just waiting for the presentation. You can see the presentation party getting together below us here.
With a celebration for women's doubles.
Yonex German Open 2017. This is the prize ceremony for the women's
I'm sure
double.
that little mascot will grow into that kit eventually, but he's got a little while to wait, I think.
And the prizes will be presented by
Great opportunity for him. I'm sure if he's a badminton player locally, and hopefully this will motivate him to stick with our sport.
Second place, women's double from China, Huang Dongping Yinhui.
So disappointed, but Yinhui is going to have to get her head back together because she's only got a couple of matches to recover. She'll be out again for the mixed doubles final later. Be interesting to see how she reacts to that. All part of the learning process for the young 19-year-old.
It takes its toll on the players to play 2 categories. So on what we're going to see later on today, Jiang Nan, he was quite heavily strapped on both arm and knee.
And now,
He's been carrying that for a while, hasn't he? Here we go, a well-deserved victory for this Japanese pair. 22 and 23 years of age. He's got time to really develop this partnership. And an excellent victory today. Showed real character, outplayed, outfought in the first game as well. Well-deserved victory. Medals being presented by Yanagi, Managing Director of Yonex Germany. Yeah, every right to be happy with that. They'll be moving on now to the All England next week and looking for a big result to follow up. Go into that with some momentum.
One picture together, maybe. And then we start the celebration walk. And now, ladies and gentlemen, women's double 2017 Yonex German Open.
Well, there we are, confirmation of the first match there. Ladies doubles won by the Japanese pair in 75 minutes. Just waiting for the men's singles players to come onto court now. I have to say, I think this game will be quite